Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're relying on SNAP benefits here at Massachusetts to buy your healthy groceries, literally the last thing you want is a simple paperwork mistake cutting off your food assistance. Today, we're breaking down exactly how to effortlessly maintain your benefits without all that bureaucratic stress.
I mean, think about it. $188. That is the average monthly benefit an older adult in Massachusetts gets to help pay for groceries. Let me ask you, do you really want to risk losing an average of $188 every single month just because of some confusing paperwork? No way, right? That's exactly why getting this recertification process right is absolutely crucial. We're going to make this whole thing as smooth and stress-free as humanly possible.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover why recertification matters. 2. Gathering your essential documents. 3. Submitting your application. 4. The recertification interview. 5. Avoiding common SNAP pitfalls. And finally, 6. Conclusion and important disclaimer.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Why Recertification Matters.
So you might be wondering, why do I even have to do this in the first place? Well, the thing is, SNAP benefits aren't permanent. They're actually approved for a specific block of time called a certification period. So recertification is basically just your mandatory check-in with the state. It confirms you still qualify and ensures you're getting the exact right amount of benefits. If you miss it, your grocery money could suddenly stop. Now, looking at the baseline eligibility here, honestly, a lot of folks, especially older adults or people with disabilities, are super surprised to find they still easily qualify. In Massachusetts, most households can apply if their gross total income is at or below 200% of the federal poverty level. To put that into perspective, for a family of one, that's $2,608 a month. For a family of two, it's $3,525. So even if your income is shifted a little bit, you might still be perfectly eligible.
The whole process actually kicks off on a set chronological timeline without you lifting a finger. You just need to keep an eye on your mail or your DTA Connect app. The state will send you an official recertification notice exactly 45 days before your current certification period ends. That gives you a solid month and a half to gather your documents, get those forms submitted, and knock out a phone interview if you need one.
Moving on to Section 2, Gathering your essential documents.
Look, tracking down the right paperwork is usually the most stressful part of any government process, right? But we've got you covered. The absolute most crucial thing to remember here is that you generally only need to prove information that's new or has changed since your last application. So if asked, you're going to need proof of identity for the head of the household, something like a driver's license. You'll need proof of Massachusetts residency, so maybe a lease or a recent utility bill. You'll need social security numbers for everyone applying, and proof of income from the last 4 weeks, like your recent pay stubs. And here's a pro tip for you. Always double-check all this information for accuracy before you hit submit. Making sure your paperwork is perfectly accurate is literally the single best way to prevent annoying processing delays.
Now, there is a specific requirement if you happen to fall into what the state calls an able-bodied adult without dependents, basically folks aged 18 to 64. If that's you, you've got to securely document that you're working, volunteering, or in a training program for at least 20 hours a week or 80 hours a month. You can easily prove this using those recent pay stubs, a written statement from your boss, or even your previous year's tax returns if you happen to be a gig worker or self-employed. Also, you definitely want to pay attention to a recent policy update here in Massachusetts. You now need to provide explicit proof for your expense deductions. Why? Because actually proving your housing costs, your utility bills, dependent care, and out-of-pocket medical expenses, especially if you're 60 plus or have a disability, can actively maximize your SNAP benefit amount. Seriously, the more eligible expenses you accurately prove, the higher your monthly grocery budget might be. It's totally worth the extra step.
All right, on to Section 3, Submitting your application.
So, you've got all your essential documents neatly organized and ready to go. Let's talk about the easiest ways to actually get this recertification over to the state. Sure, you can still go the traditional route, mailing your packet to the document processing center, faxing it, or physically dropping the forms off at your local DTA office. But honestly, we highly recommend the digital methods. Submitting online through the DTA Connect web portal or their mobile app just gives you a truly effortless experience where everything is tracked. No more stressing about whether your envelope got lost in the mail. And honestly, the DTA Connect app isn't just some clunky web form. It's a complete digital hub for your benefits. You can knock out the entire recertification in like 20 minutes. You can literally just take pictures of your utility bills or pay stubs right with your phone's camera and upload them on the spot. Just make sure those photos are nice and clear and verify the application is fully accurate. Doing this is the absolute easiest way to dodge those frustrating processing delays.
Plus, the app lets you check your EBT balances, see the status of your case, and even securely lock or unlock your EBT card to prevent fraud. It's a real game changer.
Let's look at Section 4, the recertification interview.
So, after your submission is officially in, most households will hit the interview stage. You'll either get what the DTA calls a cold call, which is just an unscheduled call from a caseworker, or you'll get a notice telling you to schedule a specific phone interview to quickly verify your living situation. But wait, here is where the process gets significantly easier for some folks. If your household is made up entirely of elderly or disabled members and you don't have any earned income, you fall under what's called EDSAP. And EDSAP households generally get to skip the recertification interview entirely. Even better, you only have to do this full recertification process every 3 years instead of every 12 months. How great is that?
On top of that, there are some streamlined COVID-19 waivers still in effect right now. Under these rules, you might also be able to completely bypass the interview if you don't have any missing mandatory documents and you fall under the standard interim report rules. Basically, the system is designed to just wave you right through if all your paperwork is perfectly in order. And hey, this is exactly why uploading those crystal clear photos to DTA Connect is so incredibly valuable.
Next up is Section 5, Avoiding Common SNAP Pitfalls.
Now that we know how everything is supposed to work, we really want to make sure your benefits don't accidentally lapse just because of a simple misunderstanding. One huge pitfall we see all the time is folks failing to report changes to their household, like having a newborn baby. And here's an amazing fact about that. If you do have a newborn, Massachusetts actually grants them 6 months of presumptive eligibility for SNAP before you even get their Social Security number. You literally just have to report the birth. Another big pitfall? Missing the 12-month deadline. But remember, if you do accidentally miss it, take a breath. You have a short 30-day grace period to fix it. If you submit everything within those 30 days, you won't have to start a brand new application from scratch.
And listen, if you ever start to feel overwhelmed by gathering pay stubs or trying to navigate the app, you absolutely do not have to do this alone. You can immediately turn to over 100 contracted SNAP outreach partners spread all across the state. We're talking local schools, senior centers, nonprofits, and food banks right in your own community. They are there to provide hands-on, entirely free assistance with your recertification.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, Conclusion and Important Disclaimer.
Our goal today wasn't just to throw a bunch of rules at you. We want to ensure you're fully empowered to take action on your benefits today using the absolute best tools available. So here is your big takeaway. Keep a really close eye out for that notice 45 days before your period ends. Gather your proofs early, double-check them for accuracy, and explicitly include those expense deductions to maximize your benefits. Download and utilize the DTA Connect app so you can skip the mail entirely. Ask yourself right now, are you ready to effortlessly secure your benefits for another year? Because you absolutely have the tools to do it.
Just a quick note to wrap things up. While this explainer is accurate as of today, August 16, 2026, we all know policies can and do change. So always verify your specific case details with official Massachusetts Department of Transitional Assistance sources or consult one of those local outreach partners if you have specific concerns about your own situation. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. We've shown you exactly how to protect your grocery budget today, but it really begs a much larger question. How many other state benefits are you currently eligible for but leaving on the table simply because of the paperwork? Until next time, stay informed and stay empowered.